Welcome back to Google Cloud Next 26. We are streaming live right here in Las Vegas. I'm Allison Kosick alongside John Furrier, and we're about to embark on another partnership and a use case which is really important to talk about.
Yeah, I love when you have practitioners come on with real examples, and the AI infrastructure is booming, it's got a lot of value, and managing and understanding it and how to use it. And the data feeds the AI, so you got to get that right. It's going to be a great topic.
Yeah, all right, let's bring in our guests. We've got Bryce Ageno, Principal Software Engineer at Nordstrom. Welcome to theCUBE.
Yep, thank you for having me.
And Balazs Molnar, the CEO and co-founder of Rapid. Welcome to theCUBE.
Thanks for having me.
So I want to start with you because the use case is so important, sort of to bring this to light. Nordstrom, just about everybody across America knows Nordstrom. What stands out to you about your partnership with Rapid?
What stood out to me was a lot of their automated tooling, where they're not just there to display what your costs are, which a lot of the tools out there, that's all they do. They take it a step further. They figure out, and they know so much about BigQuery and how its cost works, how its compute works. So they have automation that built in that reduces your bill with literally a click of a button. Like one of their things that we turned on first was their optimizer for the autoscaler for slots. Literally pointed at it, click on it, 47% savings on our BigQuery reservation costs. And that's just like one of the features. That feature by itself is worth it. By itself, but there's a bunch of other features that they have around across all of GCP for GKE automation, for cloud storage costs reduction, recommendations on how you even structure your tables. So partitioning, clustering, indexing recommendations, all of these things are not only visible to you, but they offer a way to get that data to you in pub subtopics, so you can automate your recommendations, and with AI is a perfect example. You can then read that and then automate the fix.
I mean, the automation is great, and all the cost saving numbers are phenomenal. Congratulations, well done. What's the secret sauce? Everyone wants this.
A lot of work.
I mean, I mentioned on the opening, understanding infrastructure. We've seen this in the cloud. I mean, reserve instances on other clouds. You got BigQuery, big, heavy machinery. Good. I call it the front loader of data. It's really fast. But cloud, we had the FinOps way, but AI is going to enter more action. So understanding all the moving parts is scope the order of magnitude of the complexity involved in all this.
Yeah, absolutely, and then I think back in the days, and even if you look at what the FinOps framework is basically about showing you where you can optimize. The problem is you still need to do that optimization, and then teams at enterprises like Bryce's team, their job is not to optimize, their job should be building stuff to make their experience better. And then what we've figured out is how we can move from just showing you what you need to do to actually execute it. And the next layer is really going to be about how do we call it shift left, so we preemptive that you actually overspend. So we do for example, cost-conscious code overview. So the AI is going to write more and more code, but they're not necessarily thinking about how to be more cost effective. So if you can actually, before the code getting deployed, you can actually change it so it doesn't drive additional cost. That's the best type of optimization. That never has to happen, that will never hit your bill. And as you said, I think, if we accept that AI is going to be the core of every single organization moving forward, I think there are really three things you have to figure out. First, how are you going to pay for it? Second, how are you going to make it economical? And the third is how you're going to use AI for the first two. So that's really what we're doing, and this is how we work with Bryce and the team as well to make sure that they can build better experiences.
One of the things I've observed during the cloud era, you go back, I mean, we started covering cloud, Amazon around 2013, Google Cloud had App Engine at the time, if you remember the glory days, and then look at the progress they've made. The DevOps and now DevSecOps, they were developers, and they ran operations. We're born in the cloud 17 years ago when we started this company, so we're all DevOps. So DevOps is dev and ops. Today in the AI world, Bryce, I want to get your thoughts on this because the superpower, I call the triple threat tech athlete, has three things. They build, they operate, and they invest. And the investment piece wasn't really a big cloud deal because until FinOps became a thing, but budgets aren't getting bigger at the rate of the AI needs. So the only way to get more cash is to optimize on the spend. So you got to build more, better app, better service for the customers, get delivery. I love Nordstrom's got a great tech team. So as you think about the build, operate, you got kind of an investment angle here because you're not like investing capital, but you need the capital to go back to the CFO saying, hey, I'm going to reinvest that cash into other products. How do you think about that?
So I try to get ahead of a lot of things. So like when we first started talking to Rabbit, this is like only a few months into our big BigQuery move. We had a big move off of Teradata to BigQuery, and I knew already since we were doing a lift and shift that nothing's going to be optimized, and our bill was going to go through the roof. So came to Google next, was hunting out company to company to figure out by testing them to see how much intimate knowledge they know about BigQuery, how the reservations work, how all of these things work. And the only booth that had the technical expertise I was looking for that I could have a conversation with of the details of what could help us save money was Rabbit. So I'll give you an example of why we love our partnership with them is Google came up with a feature that allows you to add a configuration value to dynamically shift which change your reservation, right? If you want to use on-demand or multiple reservations, right? So as soon as that became a previewed feature, Rabbit had already thought of, oh, we can build some automation to help you, based on your query history, pick the cheapest billing model, right? So we're like, oh, all our Airflow jobs, we can implement that in. We're now looking into implementing it with our Looker calls as well. So that's another thing where you don't have to think about it. You just save by just turning something on, and that's, the fact that they were already ahead of it based on a preview feature that Google was releasing, we're confident that as new features come out, we're going to continue working with Rabbit to continue to help us save money.
Outside of the cost and the savings you got there, what was the personnel impact? You got automation, that frees people up, right? Talk about the other intangibles.
What do you mean?
What was the benefit to the team? You had the bill skyrocket, that's cash, and you got to go in and figure it out.
Oh, perfect. So the amount of time it takes. So you do a lot of reactionary SQL improvements, right? That's what we had a bunch of analysts and a bunch of our data engineering teams looking into, right? Each team has their own budget. Now, with the pressure a little bit gone on that because the bill went down so significantly, they're working on getting automating our ingestion process, right? We're doing spending more time on data modeling to make it easier for people to find data. We're able to integrate with other tools that we're doing for our data catalog and all these other features that would have been we would have no time for because we're focusing on getting that bill down.
So you accelerated your roadmap.
Yes, definitely.
Was there a contagion going on in the team? Like, hey, this is working. Let's do other things.
It was one of those things where we turned it on, we saw the bill drop. Most people didn't believe it at first, so we had to I had to really talk to our leadership and show them how it works, explain why it went down so significantly with just one of the features. So, but then once that was there, a lot of the roadmap, I was on a cost V team. We didn't need to do as much now. So I was like, oh, I could release a lot of our senior twos to work on other stuff now, right? So I talked to product and all that stuff. It's like, we still want to continue working on costs, but now it's a lower priority. Yeah. So you guys can put in other features on the roadmap.
They're happier. They're working on cooler things.
Yeah. Okay, from the team to the customer experience, maybe you can let us in on what are you looking at down the pike for the customer experience based on your relationship with Rabbit? What kinds of things can the customer expect to see change, let's say in the next 6 to 12, 14 months?
Are you talking about our the Nordstrom customers?
Yeah.
So everything relates to data, like we know now. So a lot of this helps us unlock our analysts, our merch partners, all of our parts of our business that use data to make decisions. Now they can get it faster. We have more time to organize. Our data is more discoverable because we have all this extra time to work on that features. For our teams, that directly moves to what our customers see. They get better products. They're going to get fresher things that they, because we have the data for them to make those decisions within Nordstrom, especially when they're purchasing. Not good with the terminology here because I don't do that part of the work. I mostly focus on data, but yeah, the people that restock all of our stuff.
Yeah.
Talk about the manual processes, because I love the automation piece as well as the cost savings. It's a fall out of your chair moment for CFO, and congratulations on that, good work. What other areas that you see that you can take out some inefficiencies? Dashboards, what are the areas are people honed in on? Google calls the word toil, or undifferentiated heavy lifting by other vendors. What are areas you see?
Yeah, I mean, like ideally, where we are going is think about that you can have 10 of the best cloud engineers working for you 24/7 in your infrastructure and in your code to keep you optimized. And I think this is going to be the most important thing. This goes obviously beyond data, so every single cloud services, and it goes on the infrastructure and the code level as well. This is where we need to take this. Essentially, you won't need dashboards anymore, because whatever data you will need, you will get it from a prompt. And that's the idea that dashboards are legacies. Like the fact that they're static and obviously you go to a website or you go to a SaaS product. I mean that is literally yesterday as we speak. So that will be something that is quite exciting. We're going to start working with Bryce and the team very soon on launching some of these agents, and I think this is where like the real or another significant productivity boom is going to come, because it's literally going to take off every part of the optimization burden from the engineering team's shoulder.
Has there been, I guess Bryce, I asked you, what was the reaction with like the finance team? Your relationship must be stronger. How did they lean into this? Because of course they're watching the costs, they see the numbers.
Yeah, so I don't directly work with them, so like that normally goes through like our leadership, and like they set the budgets for the year, and I was tasked with how do we stay within budget, right? And we blew past that and was able to make room for other things, especially with our AI costs and all this use of Claude and Copilot. Right, it gives our org room in our budget.
You got the hours saved on the engineering team. You got the cost savings, hitting all the boxes. Yeah, they're having a party for you at Nordstrom's for sure. Congratulations. I guess my question is, this show has been pretty impressive. Biggest Google Next I've seen. Google Cloud Next. Yeah. What are you guys talking about here? What's on the agenda? What's some of the coffee chats you're having? As you look at Gemini coming out, you got a lot more agentic stuff coming. Google's done a good job of building that scaffolding around the open models. I mean, for choice, certainly Gemini's their model. What are you guys chatting about now? What's the conversation like?
So what I'm here for is a lot, I focus a lot on cost, but one of the other things is, since I help with some of the future thinking for our data org, is AI calling BigQuery, right? Not every question is BigQuery is not a good answer for, right? Because that's a very analytical warehouse, right? So you have one of the features that Google recently announced I'm going to be looking into is the Alloy DB relationship with BigQuery to auto sync and reverse ETL back into Alloy. So then you could easily create a MCP server that is then intelligent enough with the use of AI to pick the correct warehouse to go to based on the question. Is this an OLTP question or an OLAP question? Is this something that's going to be way more efficient using a Postgres interface or not? So those are the things we're looking for, because I know that's already coming where everyone wants access to our data, but it may not be the most appropriate use of BigQuery. So yeah, that's one of our main things, and obviously another one is like the BI side of this, right? Everyone likes chatbots. They want to chat with data. This is another big thing, right? So this is definitely something we want to partner more with Rabbit on, is like the amount of queries that are going to happen. Because now it's not just looking at a dashboard. You have potentially thousands of people, even people that are working in the store. I want to know my sales. I want to know this, especially with commission sales. Like these are all the kind of questions that every day people want a quick answer through their phone. And I see that all hitting BigQuery. I'm like, oh, we got to get ahead of this because now our customer base has just grown internally.
Yeah, FinOps is super important. In fact, we'll be at the FinOps Foundation in San Diego in 45 days. It's become a mainstream topic on the cloud side, so awesome work. Now, the scuttlebutt amongst the FinOps community is, we ain't seen nothing yet with AI, so I'd love to get your thoughts on this because the words are even different. They call it token economics, but it doesn't represent the whole picture of AI because it does build on cloud native. So you got the DevSecOps teams rolling into this agentic layer, which is going to spawn more agents and more automation. Do you guys have any thoughts on how you see FinOps extending into AI? Because there are things coming. We're already seeing model costs because they're not optimizing for the right Pareto curve or the right routing to the right system. So there's so much stuff going on. What's your guys' vision on this? It's kind of a loose, open-ended question, but I don't like the word tokenomics just because it doesn't really represent. I mean, tokens are.
So maybe I can give a step on that. So you asked me about what we were talking with customers here, and it's literally, that's the #1 question that we're getting. How do we lower our AI bill? And as I said, like, it's a completely different word, and the problem with that is that every single customer almost uses everything differently. And one common thing is that everybody overspends. About 4 to 5x to what the original budget was.
The CEO said, everyone use AI.
And everybody's using everything. Like we have Anthropic, we have Google, we have OpenAI, and everything runs at the same place. So I think this is going to be, obviously, it's going to be the multi-million, $1 billion question of how do we actually make this more economical. And then this is why I said, like, the first question is how do you use it, but second, how do you make it, how to make it work for like the budget that you had it for. The difficulty is that, right now, like smaller things like model selection, so we were just discussing this with Bryce, that people are using the best models to write an email internally. And then that email probably costs $5. So it's not really the best use of the tokens. So these are one area. Other areas are like, if there is a team of 30 people using an agent, they still individually pay for everything because they might not have the right strategy for caching. So there are different layers.
I mean, it's back to the infrastructure too. I mean, everything has a systematic consequence. I mean, models are a great one. I mean, I was talking to a customer, or a practitioner, actually, a customer of another vendor, and they said, hey, we're going to get an AI factory on-prem, just pump out our own tokens for the dev. Because why should I pay for tokens? I'll just pump out my own tokens, unlimited tokens. So they just did the ROI on the CapEx, payback on that, and then you got things like data pipelines. I mean, people built pipelines 10 years ago with all the business logic built into the database and the pipelines. You can't just have an agent move a pipeline. You got absolutely. There's like logic, and so you must have to curate that or just leave it and build a new, fresh one. So these are like, I mean, very nuanced, but I mean, Bryce, what's your thoughts on this? Because it gets kind of complicated.
So like you hear a lot at this conference, and I think for going forward, you're going to hear like the context engineering, right? What does that mean? So you have a bunch of context, you're using AI to make decisions based on that context. But what hasn't really been really thought through is testing that context changes, right? So you're paying for the model to use it, and then to test any changes for it, you have to pay again, because then you're using the tokens to test the changes you make. So we're looking at that from a cost perspective of like, I can't run all of my tests every time I make a one-sentence change to the context. So how do I determine what do I test for the changes I'm making? Do you do some kind of time regression every quarter, right? Things like that, because now all testing costs money. It's not like unit tests. So these are all things we have to think about, and we don't really have solutions for, or even like the companies that are producing this stuff. They're like, here's the model, and then you figure it out. And I'm hoping, as this is used more and more companies have these same problems, that there's a better way to test context engineering, because that is something we're looking into heavily.
I'm smiling because we heard the same music playing when data growth was happening.
Oh, yeah.
The data budgets aren't growing as fast as the data growth is, which was kind of a storage, now data platform challenge. AI is the same conversation.
Yeah.
The AI cost growth is far outpacing the budget.
Yep.
So you got to get the savings.
Yes.
So the enterprises will start looking at FinOps not as a, hey, let's lower the bill. They're looking at it as an investment thesis for project optimization and talent retention, because no one wants to work on tasks that aren't that high-paying engineer doing tasks unless it's a design piece. Is that a good use of people?
Yep.
But the question is going to be the ROI.
Yeah.
Like, does it bring it back? Like, how do you measure? So I think this is another question that we'll keep getting of like, okay, if you're spending tens of millions of dollars on AI right now, but what does it do to us?
Yeah.
If an email costs us $5, then might not be the best ROI. So this is.
We saw a couple of years ago on the security industry, Gen AI really doing good work at toil like reports, because if there was ever an incident, CISO would have to then generate a boatload of reports. Audits kind of fall into the same bucket. Any thoughts on agents and automation around auditing? Because bills come in, you want to check them. Have you guys replicated that FinOps data engineer? Or are there plans? What's your vision on auditing and a lot of the, I won't say compliance, but like reporting stuff?
Yeah. So like we are doing a showback model for most of our stuff right now. So we haven't fully implemented anything like a chargeback. So as being part of the data platform team, and our sister org is the rest of the platform that does all the cloud platform costing through Kubernetes and other forms of hosted compute. Our first step is always a show, so people can at least see what it is, and then they can identify major problems. But like he was saying, that's a reactionary way to work on it, right? Like you're reacting to data. That's why a lot of I believe it's true that dashboards are going to be a thing of the past, because you already have the data. You can use these agents to then look at the bills and then figure out those patterns even before a human would notice it, right? So that's where you're going to see a lot of the FinOps space use AI to identify these things instantly, and then react to it and solve it all at once.
Guys, well, great example, great use case. Thanks for coming on. Bryce, appreciate it. Love Nordstrom, I'm a customer. Always great service, especially in New York City, my new home. Appreciate it. And yeah, I mean, people are happier, budgets are looking good. Thanks for coming on.
Cool.
Thanks so much.
Thanks for having us.
And you're watching theCUBE, the leader in live technology coverage. We'll be right back.
Thanks.